Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. We're on to Week 5 Vegas spread over-under picks.
Make sure you check out our Vegas spread picks. We do them early every week on Tuesday. And Giff, that has made us a lot of money throughout the years. Of course, you're going to have a little bit of, cold feet on Tuesday, especially given the injuries. But sometimes that's the best time to take advantage of the spreads.
I agree, and then sometimes you can get in a bet ahead of time, and then if you know of an injury or something that Vegas isn't up to yet, it does help. So with that, let's get to these. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, the over-under 44.5.
Giff, I'm going under because this Pittsburgh defense is playing really, really good, and they have way more team speed than they had before. And we know this Ravens defense is vulnerable. We were proven right last week. I find it funny how no one's coming on and saying we were right about that, even though Ravens fans were blowing us up, saying we're underrating them and underestimating them. But when you look at this game, Giff, I think it's a defensive battle, and I don't think Mason Rudolph, even though he has shown some decent signs, this isn't Cincinnati, man. He's not going to be able to throw that ball around. Earl Thomas, there's just too much desire for the Ravens. This is going under, borderline money pick. But I don't bet over-unders too much. So.
Yeah, I'm going over in this game on one side because I think the Pittsburgh defense at home has been good, but at the same time, I don't know if they're going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson in this game. And I know Devin Bush, he's all right at the linebacker position, but do they really have defensive ends that have the speed to handle Lamar Jackson? So I think he has an advantage there. And this Baltimore defense isn't really that great this year. I think Pittsburgh can get a few things going. They're not going to have to get a ton going for this to go over. I think Pittsburgh could score in the 20s in this game. And with that, we'll go to Chicago versus Oakland, the over-under 40.5.
This is one where you really feel like you can't win either way. I'm going over because I expect a good performance from the Raiders. But that good performance could include only 7 or 10 points from the Bears. I do want to make it clear that as this keeps getting up to 5.5, 6, this Raiders bet is looking good. But the only thing about it that is a problem is that it is in London, and Chase Daniels is better than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
I'm going over here, but I can't wait to watch this game. I wish they would have put it on at like 10 in the morning like they did the other London games instead of sandwiching in it at 1. I don't really get that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see this on Saturday, but I have to go under in this game. The Chicago's defense is too good. Roquan Smith is back in the fold. Khalil Mack playing probably like the best defender in the league right now. Oakland has some injury issues. Tyrell Williams is a little banged up still. Richie Incognito just got put on the injury report for lower back issues.
Oh, he's going to play, right?
Yeah, he's going to play, it looks like, but still, there's still some issues there. It really comes down to how good Oakland can run the ball against that Bears
And Josh
defense.
Jacobs, this is off topic, but if anyone wants a future pick with some really great odds, Josh Jacobs to win Offensive Rookie of like they have Daniel Jones as like the heavy favorite, and Josh Jacobs is like 9th or 10th favorite. Man, and that was one I wanted to put a bet in last night.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Topic, but...
Yeah. And with that, we'll move on to Arizona at Cincinnati, the over-under 47.
Yeah, give me Cincinnati to win in the cover. But this, actually, Giff, we're doing over-under. My bad. I got sidetracked. Give me under here because Arizona's offense, it really hasn't been what was advertised, and they can't do the things to hurt Cincinnati, really, even though Cincinnati's defense has been treacherous. And I think Cincy gets going offensively, Gaff.
I have to go over in this game. Both teams have been struggling, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think both teams can put up points. And, we can bash Cincinnati a lot, but Andy Dalton can throw the football, though. We know that. And Arizona has been known recently to leave guys wide open. I would like to think Cincinnati can get something going here. Maybe Mixon even gets involved finally a little bit. So with that, we'll move on to Jacksonville at Carolina, the over-under 41.
All right, Giff, I see this at max being a 2017 game, so I got to go under here. Pretty sure about it. I mean, I think this will be a dominant performance from the Jags defense. And honestly, I expect this Carolina defense to have a big part of this game too. This is I like this at under. I don't know if I'm going to put it on a parlay or anything like that, but I really like this under.
Yeah, I started this one. I feel really comfortable about the under in this game. Jalen Ramsey isn't playing, and that's really discouraging. I wish they would figure that out with him so these picks could be a little bit more easier for us. But I think Jacksonville's defense takes care of business. I don't think that McCaffrey is going to be running wild on them. I think they'll always have somebody on him and take care of that. And then on the flip side, Carolina's defense at home has been pretty good this year. I think they keep it low as well. So with that, we'll move on to Minnesota at the Giants, the over-under 43.5.
If I'm going over because I think Minnesota explodes offensively. I think they're putting up at least 28. So with that logic, it has to be. Although I am a little bit nervous about some of the stuff going on in Minnesota with Stephon Diggs, but I can't be too surprised by it because I'm surprised Tim and Thielen held their tongue so long, honestly.
Yeah.
And me and you have been talking about Zimmer and how we don't know how he hasn't lost a team yet. Obviously, maybe that's starting to crumble. Maybe it has been lost, and now that another Bears domination against them is finally what churned everyone against Zimmer. And I give Kirk Cousins, this man is a terrible quarterback. So we're going to be on the edge of our seats. Even with a strong bet, you got to trust your fundamentals, and all the fundamentals tell us to bet Minnesota to win and cover this game. But we're going to be on for an uncomfortable Sunday afternoon. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of money riding on the Vikings this weekend, and I have some as well. And I'm going under in this game. I believe in that defense of Minnesota. If Daniel Jones is going to struggle against the Redskins defense, I got to believe that Minnesota's defense is going to come in here and hold them in a check. We just got the news today that Saquon is definitely out for this week.
Yeah, that was some bull. That was scaring people unnecessarily.
Yeah, and I also disagree with a lot of people thinking that the Vikings are an average team. They're actually a really good football team outside of their quarterback. I think they would be a top 3 team if they actually had a good quarterback.
Man, if they had even someone of Nick Foles, caliber, I think they'd be top 3. And I do got to comment on that Instagram post because I know it's a Giants fan page and everything, but they were acting like the Giants were favorites to win this game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That just shows what's wrong with fans.
And let's move on to New England at the Redskins, the over-under 42.5.
Oh, I'm going over because I think New England explodes on them. I think there's at least 30 points here. And Washington should be able to get some garbage points, right?
Well, I don't think that they are. I got to go under because if Case Keenum and company are going to play that bad against the Giants defense, how are they going to play against arguably one of the better secondaries in the league? I could see some turnovers here on Washington's end. I think New England takes it easy on them as far as how the game goes. I think they methodically maybe score 30 points throughout the whole game, take their time doing it, but I don't see much from the Redskins end in this game. And with that, let's move on to the Jets versus Philadelphia, the over-under 44. Darnold officially ruled out.
Yeah, you got to pound this under really fast, right, before it keeps going down.
Yeah.
Now that the news about Darnold is. And now I'm going to just officially change my pick to Philly to win and cover just because Darnold's out, of course. So there's a guy who keeps track of our records, so make sure he marks down that. But Giff, I'm going over here because even though Luke Falk is trash, I think there's garbage points to be had here. That's why.
I have to go under because I don't see much from the Jets offensively. Philly, they're going to do what they have to do to win this game, no doubt. But Deshaun Jackson is out another week, so that does take away a little bit of firepower from the Eagles, something that could have made it overwhelming. So I have to go under because of the Jets situation. I think we were pretty clear about the Bills and Jets with our picks there because of also we're waiting to hear about Josh Allen, but we were really clear in our spread video that if the quarterbacks didn't play, we were going the other way in that. So with that being said, let's move on to Tampa at New Orleans, over under 47.
Giff, I'm going under, and it has all the fundamentals to be an over a Tampa Bay defense that's really bad. Jameis Winston is pretty hot. Teddy Bridgewater will be known to turn the ball over, but I'm going under because the pace of game. You could talk about, for instance, that Vikings-Bears game last week. You can talk about the Bears defense all you want, but also the pace of game with ball possession, running the rock, killing time, not giving the Vikings chances with the football in the first half. That's what the Bears did, and I think that's what New Orleans does under. Very sure.
Yeah, I'm very sure too. I'm going under in this, but this is one that, from a perspective of Tampa Bay, we have to watch closely, because if they somehow come into New Orleans and that offense plays well, then it's time to give some credit, because we've seen New Orleans play really good the past couple weeks. This is a big test for Tampa Bay. Is that just a fluke what they've been doing, or is it for real?
Well, I actually think this is actually a really interesting game, and I wouldn't have expected to say that, week 1 or week 2 this season.
And with that, let's move on to Atlanta at Houston, the over-under 49.
Yeah, I'm going under, because this Atlanta offense has been in stagnation. This Houston offense hasn't been up to snub. It could easily go over, especially if Atlanta comes to fight. But do we even know Atlanta will come to fight at this point? Can we even bet on it?
I have to go over because it has the formula to. But you're right, it could easily go under with the struggles that both teams have had.
I mean, Atlanta just hasn't shown up this year, and it comes down to that. And I'm not deflecting and taking away your credit for instance, when you pick Tennessee to go on the road to beat Atlanta, when you picked the Colts to beat Atlanta, not taking anything away from that. But, man, Atlanta really hasn't shown up this year. It's been really disappointing.
Well, they're underwhelming, and their star players aren't even playing good. And right now, the way that their secondary is playing, which is not very good, they're struggling. Houston has a lot of weapons. And then, really, like you said, though, this could go under because of the issues. Like, Houston can't block anybody right now.
Yeah.
Atlanta, they're having multiple issues, some that we can't even explain. We think it probably could be coaching.
A lot of Houston's issue is coaching, too, because, listen, we can talk about the bad offensive line all we want, but you do add Laramie Tunsil, and it seems like the situation is as bad as it was last year. So.
Yeah, and you've been calling for, well, I jumped on that bandwagon, too, but we have not been happy with Bill O'Brien the past couple of years.
Yeah, I was happy when he got the job, but, yeah, he's overstayed his welcome for the past 2 years. It's quite self-evident now.
And let's move on. Buffalo versus Tennessee, the over-under 38.5.
Josh Allen update.
It's not looking good.
Under. And this Bills defense is going to come to ball. And I'm not ruling out a Bills upset on the road here. But something tells me with Matt Barkley starting, even though he's somewhat competent, like if this isn't like putting in a John Skeleton or something really, really terrible.
Yeah.
I want Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins and covers, and I think this is too low for a -3. I need to just comment on that and give me under, because both defenses are really good, and I don't trust the Bills to run the football in this game. If they do run the football, I think this goes over. I just can't see them running it.
Yeah, I got under, and I guess we'll have to change our pick for that too, because Josh Allen doesn't look like he's going to play. And Barkley, he's a pretty decent backup, but even last year, he had to start a few games. The only thing he was able to do was squeak one out against the Jets. So nothing tells me that he can go into Tennessee and grab this win, especially against a defense like that.
Yeah, but at least you can have at least some confidence in him. But yeah, this guy, the problem with Matt Barkley too is the turnovers. And are we going to see another special teams mistake by Buffalo?
Maybe. And with that, let's move on to Denver versus the Chargers, the over-under 44.5.
I think this literally goes just over by a point or two. Not a lot of science, but I think Denver's offense, they're actually starting to look better. Mm-hmm. I think this Chargers defense isn't what it was, although we do see them getting better. I think Melvin Gordon helps fill up a little bit, and Joe Flacco's going to put up some points. We know that's what he does. It's just enough to scrape by.
Yeah, I got to go over in this. I actually feel really good about this. I think Denver's able to get some stuff going offensively. I think Phillip Lindsay is going to have a good game. And I think the Chargers get some points too. But I think a really big reason for me why I have it going over is because Denver isn't as terrible as I guess I thought they were going to be. Their record certainly shows that they're bad. They're 0-4. But their offense has been playing better than I thought they would. And with that, let's move on to Green Bay versus Dallas. The over-under is 47. Devontae Adams hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah,
He's not looking
I'm
good.
changing my pick to Dallas to win in the cover, first of all. because Devontae Adams is just too big for Green Bay. I mean, that's too big a cog. And Dallas's defense, like you said before, is pretty damn good. But give me over here. I'm surprisingly going over, but I don't think Green Bay can stop this Dallas offense, not because of Dak. I think they're going to run the rock and they're going to run rough shot on them. And Aaron the Game Rodgers is going to somehow squeak out 21, 24 points.
That's what I'm nervous about with me under with this one because, even towards the end or like the third and the fourth even, I think Rodgers could get to that point where they could score in the 20s. But I have to go under because I feel like Dallas running the football, they'll be able to kill a lot of time in this game. And with that, let's move to Indy versus Kansas City, the over-under 56.
When you see a Kansas City game, I just go over. That's just a reflex.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened so many times last year. No matter what they laid out for the spread, I would just go over. Although I do find this one a little bit high, especially with, Indianapolis on offense. Indianapolis killing a lot of clock. No T.Y. T.Y. Hilton's playing, yay or nay?
It looks like he might play.
Go over.
Yeah, more so that he'll play than not, and that's a good sign for Indy. And I'm going over as well because this Kansas City defense really is vulnerable. It really is. They don't have linebackers. They're not deep in the secondary. Their D-line isn't exactly taking over games. I mean, Chris Jones is good. Frank Clark is good, but they can't do it all.
Yeah.
And this defense is definitely an issue for Kansas City. So over in that game. And then Monday night, we got Cleveland at the 49ers, the over-under 46.5.
I'm going over. And originally I was thinking under. I think this is kind of like a grungy type game. San Fran's got a really good front set. Browns have their deficiencies on defense, but they are playing good, physical, smart football. But I'm going over because I think this game goes down to the fourth quarter, and I think one of these quarterbacks explodes in the fourth quarter. Give me over.
Yeah, I'm going over too. I think it's another one of those games where you can see the formula for a lot of points.
Yeah.
Cleveland in the secondary, there's issues there, and the 49ers love to pass the rock. And then on the flip side, Cleveland has a lot of weapons. And the 49ers in the secondary, we know you can take advantage. So I really do like the over in this game. I had a star by it, so that's one of the three I like this week.
Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos, the Lawson and Gift Podcast.